Hey boys and girls, welcome to Generation Tech. Today we're going to be looking at some of the biggest ships in Star Trek. You know, I learned the alphabet by watching Star Trek. When First Contact came out, I knew all the way from A, B, C, D to E. Now, after watching the Enterprise TV show, I know all the way up to J. That's right, the Enterprise J. A future ship from the 26th century that we briefly get to see part of the interior of when the captain gets transported into the future. Although the details are vague, the ship is apparently Universe class with a length of 3,219 meters. That makes it longer than a Borg cube, and in the real world it would be a little bit longer than the Golden Gate Bridge, which is 2,737 meters in length. We don't actually see the exterior of the ship in the TV show. Although a CG model for it was made, the external battle scenes they had planned were cancelled due to budget constraints. And that's the last ship we'll be covering from the Enterprise TV show, my least favourite Star Trek series. To be honest, I think it was a mistake to go back in the timeline and use a ship with inferior technology and weapons. I mean, seriously, look at this computer they're using. Is that Windows 95? Next, we have this massive mushroom orbiting the Earth, imaginatively called Earth Spacedock. We first see it in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and although it was a state-of-the-art space station, their security was a bit lax. Conveniently for the plot of Star Trek III, the station was unarmed. Kirk and friends managed to steal the Enterprise from Spacedock, and there really isn't anything to stop them. The station was 3.8 kilometers in diameter and about 6 kilometers in height. That's about 2/3 as high as Mount Everest from sea level. The same model was used for multiple star bases throughout the series, but the measurements for this one weren't really thought out though. The Enterprise D fits through the same doors the Enterprise refit only just fit through in The Search for Spock, even though the Enterprise D is a bigger vessel. Actually, I think that's even the exact same shot of Spacedock, just with the starship and background replaced. Next, we have the Voth City Ship. The Voth were basically the reptilians. Look, here's one abducting a human. They shared a lot of their DNA with humans because they'd evolved from a species of dinosaur on Earth before leaving the planet and traveling to the Delta Quadrant. They didn't have a homeworld of their own, so they lived on this city ship 5 kilometers in length. And they were a very progressive species. They had a female commander, the ship had gender-neutral bathrooms, and could beam entire starships into its core. I was joking about the bathrooms. Next, we have the whale probe from one of my favourite Star Trek movies, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. If dinosaurs evolved into reptilian humanoids, did whales evolve into whalemen and leave Earth? It's possible. A cat evolved into this dude.
As ordered, sir. A small whale. Are you sure you wouldn't like your fish cooked?
No, sir. I like my food to move. I'm going to eat the
Anyway, the whale probe was massive in size. At 70 kilometers long, it was second only to Voyager from Star Trek the Motion Picture. You know, that movie where they all did acid together and hallucinated for hours. According to Star Trek novels, the probe was built by a species that lived in the oceans of Class M planets 500,000 years ago. The Borg encountered the probe and tried to assimilate it, but failed. On its travels, the probe also encountered humpback whales. In the 23rd century, they stopped by again, as you do, to check out the whales, and found the whales had gone, because they were extinct. So the probe was pissed. It started vaporizing Earth's oceans, and there was nothing this ancient Chinese sage or this Ben Bernanke lookalike could do to stop it. Obviously, the only thing to do would be to go back in time and get a couple of humpbacked whales to negotiate with the probe. Because, seemingly for the plot of this movie, Starfleet knows how to go back in time all of a sudden. Why haven't they used this capability before? To stop Khan, for example. Don't ask questions. You'll ruin the movie. Okay, last ship. Well, this isn't really a ship, it's more of an object, the Dyson Sphere. No, this isn't some kind of new spherical vacuum cleaner. From the Enterprise's view screen, it looks like a small moon. You get it? At 200 million kilometers in diameter, it's as big as the Earth's orbit around the Sun. The sphere was built to harness energy from a star it encased by an unknown species. The inhabitants would have lived on the interior surface, which was concaved in shape. Christopher Nolan, eat your heart out. We don't really get to see much of the sphere in the TV show. Again, budget constraints perhaps. but we do know it had tractor beams, gun placements, and a surface with structures and trenches on it. Haha, just kidding. Guys, what do you think of this selection? I basically picked the ones I like. Of course, we left out a few, like the Voyager from Star Trek The Motion Picture, a terrible movie, and the Borg's Unimatrix 1. Perhaps we'll cover those in the future. There are also some that I left out because the details about them are just too vague. Now, let us know in the comments what videos you would like to see in the future. We're thinking of doing a video on the Enterprise E versus an Imperial Star Destroyer. Leave us a comment if you'd like to see that. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, please click the link in the description box of this video. Please subscribe to our channel, and if you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.